Okay.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Woo!
Good afternoon, everybody. You are listening to 89.7, your sound alternative, and we're here with a very special edition of Little Village Live. My name is Craig, and I'm in the studio with UK pop superstar Kate Nash.
The artists that I've always liked and looked up to have cared about those things in the past, and it means a lot to me. So I think if it's all representing you, so it should be right, and it should be what you want it to be. Mm-hmm. So even though it's stressful, I think it's important to take the time to just ensure that it's what you want.
Yeah, I mean, especially taking care of something like album art.
Yeah,
you know,
it's really hard. But I worked with this girl, Kate Gibb, who was really cool. She does like screen prints, and we had loads of meetings before, and she would come around my house, and I would just show her all these things that I really liked, and I kind of wanted to base it on the Bauhaus.
Mm-hmm.
There was this really cool piece by this woman, Marianne Brandt, who the Bauhaus art scene was like really cool in the 30s, and she there was loads of pieces that were done by women that I guess they weren't taken as seriously at the time as the men, and then these few women became really famous out of the scene because they were really cool. And so I also wanted it to be collagey and also just like my favourite artwork's always just really simple. Mm-hmm. And kind of, yeah, it's like keep it as simple as you can, but there's like a complex idea behind it, mm-hmm. sort of. So it was about trying to replicate some kind of collage that meant something to the record and to me. So it's all like my objects and photos that we did together. It was a cool experience to work with her.
Yeah, I mean, and plus one of the reasons I like collage too is, especially when you see one in person, getting the sense of like different physical objects.
Yeah.
And sometimes things that are of different shapes and textures.
Yeah.
That get kind of pinned together. You know, it's like everyone's talking about, you know, how, you know, the vinyl is back and the cassette tape is back.
Yeah,
I think it's really okay to like touching things.
Yeah, me too.
You know? And I think that someone who cares about album artwork, I think that's cool.
Cool.
You mentioned, though, an attention to the kind of female artists of the Bauhaus scene. Mm-hmm. You've been saying something recently in interviews that I think encapsulates a particular idea very well, which is that female is not a genre.
Yeah.
I've read you say that a couple. I've read you say that a couple of times, and
yeah.
I was just hoping maybe you can talk a little bit about where that comes from. Kind of what that expression to you means, because there are a lot of, I don't know, you know, the album is kind of loaded with certain sort of feminist tendencies.
Yeah.
That I thought maybe you could talk a little bit about.
Yeah, I think it's comes from just being from the media really, and what the media says a lot about, I guess, me and about other female artists and grouping everyone together and what you're expected to be. I feel like, I'm not really sure about in the US, because I feel like when I do interviews with American journalists, it seems like a little more thought out, and people are always more into those, asking me those kind of questions and stuff. But in the UK, certainly it's like, I almost feel like you're expected to be like a one-dimensional character. And if you don't play like a certain role, then like if you're not playing like the sexy kind of pop star, then you're like, I'm always written as like being really like, I don't know, silly and quirky and blah, blah, blah. And you can have like a really serious conversation with someone and read the piece, and it's like none of that's covered. It's all just like blah, 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 like it sound really dizzy, and which I can be, but I can also be smart and want to talk about important stuff. And I think that everyone's making such a fuss. There's like probably like 10 female solo artists that are all coming out at the same time, and everyone's like, oh my God, there's like so many, and it's like there's band after band after band after artist after artist of like male, you know, writers and stuff, and it just seems, why is it so exciting, you know, like there should just be, it shouldn't be such a big deal that there's like all these female artists around. And then there's just the thing of it being like, it like a few female artists, solo artists are doing really well, so that becomes the trend, and then record labels are looking to sign young girls because that's what's selling. And then you just get like, it's just getting so many, and it becomes less and less interesting, and there's less integrity in it. And I almost feel embarrassed to be like, oh yeah, I'm a female solo artist, because there's all these like rip-off versions that are really crap and like rubbish, and yeah, it's weird. And I don't know, I just think there is definitely a lot of sexism within the industry I've experienced, and coming from media, I find really frustrating and annoying. And just to be, I feel like it always comes into it that I'm a girl rather than just being an artist. It's kind of weird.
Right. You're never like, hey, it's Kate Nash, piano player.
Yeah, and I get asked stuff like, why don't you care about being sexy, or why have you done scandalous photo shoots? And I'm like, why do you think you can ask me that question? Like,
right.
I'm not a fucking... Oh, sorry. I'm not a model, I'm like a musician, so I don't really want to answer questions like that. I don't think it really matters.
Yeah. It's fun. I mean, I just remember, a couple years ago, and this is to kind of not do that comparison, but in the United States, there was a lot of people who started talking about, when the Pipettes started to kind of break in the UK, and then back over here, there was a lot of interesting dialogue, and I don't think there's an answer about what it kind of means to tap into music from an era where like kind of the artists and the imagery and the idea of the female artists were very different. I mean, I'm thinking here specifically about, obviously 60s girl group stuff. Yeah. And to kind of do that, in an updated way, there's something kind of, something kind of subtle about it, and something kind of, I don't know, it's interesting to see this kind of return to that 60s aesthetic, I think.
Yeah.
And that's not really a question. Anyway, thanks so much for being in here and answering my questions. Again, Kate Nash is playing tonight at the Englert at 8 p.m., $14 for students in the IMU box office. This special edition of Little Village Live, I want to thank Drew Ingersoll, who is here behind the boards and making everything sound great. Of course, the real great stuff is coming from Kate and her bandmates here. This is one last song from My Best Friend Is You, and it is called Later On.
No one that I trusted. I didn't like his face, I didn't think he was cute, but I kissed him just to get some information. I used my body and his desperation. We jumped up out of there, yeah, we were chasing. I'm telling you that town was a scary place, but I would do it all again the same. Yeah, I would do it all again the same. And later on, I'm crying my stupid eyes out. Later on, I'm crying like a baby. And yeah, baby, don't get so disappointed.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, I'd like to thank again Kate for coming into the studio. It's Kate Nash tonight again, 8 p.m. at the Englert. Tickets at the IMU box office are $14. This was a special presentation of Little Village Live. My name is Craig Eley. Thanks for tuning into your sound alternative. Right now, we're going to hear some more Kate Nash off of My Best Friend Is You. This is the first track off that record, Paris.
Cool. Thank you.
Cool. Thanks so much.
Many things